Hey guys. Hey. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's quickly wait for others to join for a few more minutes. Yeah, then we can start. Like, I am so excited today. I don't want to lie. I went to church after 2 months. 2 months of not going to church. I finally gathered the strength to go to church. So don't mind me, y'all. Like, I am honestly proud of myself. It was needed, honestly. Sometimes you need to be in the presence of God and forget about not your problems as such, and forget about everything that you're going through or whatever. Like forget about life. Let me just put it like that. Sometimes you need to be in the presence of God and feel the Holy Spirit. That's what happened to me. Like, yo. Plus, the message today was so powerful. It was very powerful. The pastor was talking about how some people lack faith and yet they want God to like perform miracles for them, right? You can't expect God to perform miracles for you when you don't have faith. You need to have faith when entering into the presence of God. That was the message for today. So we can wait for a few more minutes. Okay, I don't want to wait for a few more minutes. Like I want to start after doing this live. I need to take a nap because yeah, I barely slept last night. I've been busy. Guys, like oh, yeah, it's 2025. Man, this year, ne? Like I knew there's something that I'm working on, right? There's something that I'm working on. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to jinx it. But when I first started this project, I knew what I was getting myself into, right? Like I knew that it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work, in fact. I knew that I'm gonna need a timeout every now and then. But I'm so tired. Like I'm tired. I need a break because I've been working, man. I've been working and it's not funny anymore. Hence, sometimes I can't even go live. Sometimes I don't have the time to like go live. That's because like the workload has me by the chokehold. So yeah, guys, let's start. I want to take a nap after doing this live, and then yeah, I need to finish working on this project that I'm working on, and then what else? And then my favorite show is starting at. Hi, good afternoon. How are you? My favorite show is starting at 6. So by 6 I need to have at least been halfway done, halfway through, in fact, halfway through with my work and all of that. So yeah, let's start. All right, my lovely females and gents. So I am back with another episode of Reading My Subscribers Scary Stories, right? So these stories I got them from Reddit. I get y'all don't want to send me stories. Y'all don't want to send me your paranormal stories or whatever. So yeah, it's fine. Let's start. The first story is titled Sorry, my best friend is starting to scare me. I was about 13 years old at the time. I lived a relatively normal life with both my parents. Our green two-story house sat on a quiet suburban street in the quiet town. The neighbors on my block were very friendly and social. If one of them were outside, we would greet one another. A neighbor we would usually see out is the man who lived a house away, Lee. Okay? Lee lived with his wife, Jeanette, and they would spend most of their time gardening. It was always inevitable seeing one of them working out on their front lawn. Their yellow 1950s style house with a carpet driveway was always buzzing with activity from the couple. So meaning they were always working on the house, okay? My father lived a few houses away from them as a boy. Wait, so you were 13, okay. He said they always kept busy and that their house had not changed much since. Hi, Poppy. Hi, how are you? My best friend Daryl. Let me quickly. My best friend Daryl lived across the street with his mom, grandfather, and brother Brian. We both went to the same school and would often hitch a ride with Brian, who already had a license. We had one or two class periods together, but would see each other at lunch. Most weekends, I think that's the people who are working outside. Like, please don't mind the noise, people. Please don't mind the noise. There's people working outside, right? And I'm really sorry about that. Where was I? Class period. I have Twitter. Yep, I'm not that active on Snapchat. Okay, most weekends we would hang out, mostly playing video games or making trips to the library. I know it sounds lame, but it was within working distance, and we would often check out comic books or books for our school projects. Fast forward, we knew it was a really good day when Brian would be home and would drop us off at the movies or the mall. If we were hanging out, we would text each other, chatting about what was going on, the stupid shit we found funny, or dreading school the next day. Both my parents worked. Sorry, my dad being a police officer and my mom worked night shift as a nurse at the hospital. So I would spend most of my time talking to Daryl through a headset or texting if he wasn't able to come over. Fast forward. Okay. One evening, I was home alone. My dad had already left for work a little before I got off school, so I had the house to myself. I played video games in the living room and talked to Daryl on the headset. A loud, heavy knock at the door nearly made my heart jump out of my chest. I set the controller down and made my way to the window next to the door. Why would you do that? Why? Don't you know that if you hear something outside, you're not supposed to look? I peered. I peered out the blinds to see a police officer standing on the front stoop. I cracked the door open and greeted him. Good evening. Do you know if your neighbor in number 6 is home? 6 was about 2 houses away, and a kind old lady named Lorraine lived there. I shook my head no, and the officer thanked me before walking away. I went back to gaming. Fast forward. Like, where's the climax? This story, it's taking too long to reach the climax. The following days were uneventful, just going to school and playing games after homework. Things started to take a bit of a turn that Thursday. I woke up and waited on the stoop for Brian and Daryl to pick me up, but they never showed. Odd. That was odd. Remember that these people used to play together every day, right? Some time went by and the garage door never opened. I figured Daryl must have overslept or was sick, so I walked down to the end of the street and waited for the bus. Daryl usually texted if he wasn't going. Again, maybe he overslept. Maybe I was able to, but I was able to take the bus and get to school in time. By lunchtime, I sent my friend a message saying what's up. I hadn't heard from him from the rest of the day, which was different. Even if there were days he wouldn't feel like texting, he would at least reply until I took the hint that he didn't feel like talking. Each class we had together, I would ask the teacher if I could take the work he missed home for him. Shame, you're such a good friend. On the way home, I shot Daryl a text saying that I had the work he missed and that I was going to drop it off. No answer. I got home and walked across to his house. I went up to the door and knocked. After waiting for about 3 minutes, I tried the doorbell and waited another 3 minutes. I reached into my pocket for my phone to see if he sent me any message. Fast forward, but there were only ones from my mom. I opened the hanging mailbox next to the door and slid the folder of schoolwork into it before heading back. My mom was off, so we ate and spent the evening together. Before bed, I checked my phone to see no response from Daryl. I thought I would have seen an okay or thanks from him, but that wasn't the case. I rode, excuse- I rode the bus to school again, still not hearing from Daryl. Part of me was starting to get annoyed, but I was also starting to get concerned. I figured I wouldn't, but I figured I wouldn't bug him that day and went on with my day. After school, I got home in time to see my mom off to work. After she left, I walked across the street to give Daryl the work he missed that day. I couldn't quite pinpoint it, but something felt off as I walked across to his house. It didn't get any better when I opened his mailbox to see the work from yesterday still in it. Where the hell is Daryl? I contemplated knocking on the door, but ultimately decided against it as I didn't want to be annoying. That evening, I would make myself comfortable and play video games. I had no concept of time as I became extremely involved in my game. I grew tired of playing and let myself get killed off. So he was probably playing Call of Duty, I'm sure. Fast forward, gosh, this story is long. I checked my phone to see it was about 10 o'clock. A notification caught my eye. I flipped open my phone and clicked the message box to see that Daryl texted around 8:47. Hi, was his only response. This made me a little aggravated, but deep down my anxiety started to grow. Maybe he was in some serious trouble or has some kind of explanation. How are you? I typed back. After about 4 minutes, he replied, Good. Why haven't you been in school? A minute passed. Sick. Ibo, why is Daryl so... Did you get your homework? Yeah. Are you feeling better? No. Ibo, what's happening with Daryl? There really wasn't much conversation. Daryl wasn't the type to write out a novel of a response, but his worded answers seemed off. Will you be back on Monday? I questioned. No. Fast forward. The conversation died as soon as it began, and I was left with more questions than answers. Not feeling tired anymore, I decided to play my game just a little more. I'm sure he was trying to get his mind off things, right? 1 o'clock rolled around and I finally called it quits. I had grown quite tired and decided to go to bed. Before climbing into bed, I noticed a light on across the street at Daryl's. Curious, I tiptoed to the window and peeked out. It was the upstairs sorry about that. It was the upstairs bedroom facing my house. This would have been Brian's room. Yo, I had totally forgotten about Brian, hey? Because he has been talking about Daryl, I'm sure, for the past 4 minutes. The blinds were drawn, but I could see the shape of someone pacing back and forth. Pacing back and forth. I stayed there watching for about 7 minutes as the person continued walking back and forth. I muttered, what the, to myself as I crawled into bed. I woke up forgetting about the night before, but it dawned on me once I was fully awake. The day was uneventful. I spent the day in front of the TV or on my laptop. My mom was off again that evening, so we hung out and watched movies. Once it got late, my mom decided to retire for the evening and I hung out on the couch. I had my laptop, so I stayed up playing on it. Yo, you're always on your laptop or either on your phone. Around 1 in the morning, I felt a vibration coming from the couch. I pulled my phone from under me. I had received a text from Daryl. Shouldn't you be in bed? It read. How did Daryl know that he wasn't in bed? Unsure what to think, I sent him a message back saying, "What the fuck? Like, really, what the fuck? How did you know that?" Fast forward. The lamp in the living room was on, so maybe he noticed that. Okay. I got off the couch and walked over to the window. Yo, I need to do my nails. I honestly don't have the time, but I need to do my nails. I look like something that's not from this world. The lamp in the living room was on, so maybe he noticed that. I got off the couch and walked over to the window. I peeked through the blinds and saw a light on upstairs. This time, the silhouette of a person was visible, not walking back and forth, but just standing at the window, staring at my house and at me. It didn't move at all. I stood there for about 5 minutes watching back, and whoever it was didn't do anything. Excuse. I had had enough and went to my room, creeped the fuck out. I peeked out of my bedroom window. I shit you not, the person in the window was still in the same spot. I couldn't take it anymore and decided to turn my phone off for the night. Before I could hold down the power button, another message popped up. I can see you. A sudden wave of paranoia came over me as I dropped the phone and jumped into bed, covering my head with the blankets like a child. I had the worst time trying to fall asleep and didn't fall asleep until early in the morning once the sun was up. I can imagine, Shane. I felt watched. I didn't touch my phone all day. I avoided it like the plague and spent as much time with my parents as possible. I don't have any fear when my parents work the night shift, but tonight I did not want to be left alone. Fast forward, gosh, you can write a book, Shane. You. I spent most of my evening planted in front of the television. I didn't feel much like playing video games, so I stuck to flipping through the channels. I felt my eyes become heavy and laid my head down to rest my eyes. I fell asleep on the couch, and when I finally woke up at around 10 or so, I decided to go to bed. I don't know how long I was out before my phone rang. It was super loud and made me jump. Rocky and rubbing my eye, I picked it up. "Hello?" I muttered into the phone. Silence. Before I hung up, I could hear breathing on the other end. I once again asked, "Hello?" and heard myself echo. Whoever it was hung up. I assumed it was a wrong number when I noticed the caller's ID. It was Daryl. My gut told me to call him back. Why would he call me this late? Wanting to get to the bottom of whatever was going on, I called the number back and waited. Fast forward. Jesus Christ. Yo! As I awaited an answer, something caught my eye. I heard the faint sound of a ringtone coming from like ay. Yo, I don't like people who write. Not that I don't like them, I get bored easily. Let me put it like that. Like I get bored easily, man. I want someone who's fast, someone who just make you read maybe 3 sentences and then yeah, you on to the climax after that. Yo, I don't want someone who will make you go round and round. Like I don't want that. As I awaited an answer, something caught my ear. I heard the faint sound of a ringtone coming from somewhere. I sat up trying to listen up to where it was coming from. My stomach knotted up when I realized it was the guest room right next to mine. Just then, someone finally answered the phone. The deep, raspy voice of a man answered, "You're not alone." Before ending the call, all the blood drained from my face and nausea hit me like a truck. I felt the urge to vomit and didn't know what to do. My brain told me to lock the door, but my body refused. As I sat in shock, I heard the creaking of floorboards and something snapped in me that sent me running to the door. Fast forward. I can't. This is too long. This story is too long. I locked it and then moved a nearby drawer against it. I heard the sound of a door opening. Footsteps walked out and across the floor of the hallway and stopped at my bedroom door. Whoever was on the other side tried the doorknob. When he found it locked, I heard him say, come out, wherever you are." This made every hair on my body stand up and he began to pound in the door. The thud against the door made me collapse. The intruder violently banged on my bedroom door. I crawled back against my bed and felt the phone I had dropped. With trembling hands, I dialed 911. The intruder began wailing as he violently clobbered and kicked the door. I hope this is the last part. His babbling was incoherent and almost inhuman. I don't think I've ever heard any person make the kind of noises he did. An operator finally picked up and I explained what was going on. She stayed on the line and tried to keep me calm, but by this time I had pissed myself and was all but hyperventilating. Shame. The wait for the police was the worst, as I feared this psychopath could come into this room at any minute. I crawled to my closet and hid in it. The operator reassured me the police were on their way. I had to put my hand up to my ear to drown out the man's insane shrieking, which had only grown louder. I begged the operator to help me. The police were only 2 minutes away, and I prayed they would come sooner. My vision started to blur, and I had to put out my head between my knees to stop me from passing out. Whew. Just as I expected the door to come crashing in, there was silence. I waited for what seemed like hours in the closet, expecting him to come into the room screaming, but nothing happened. He was just gone. I don't remember much of what happened next because I blacked out. I remember hearing a police officer calling for me and feeling safe at that point. He explained that the other officers were searching thoroughly and that my parents were on their way. I was never so happy to see my parents. They were scared and my mom would not let me go. We found out that the man had escaped before they arrived. They checked all around our street but found nothing. The neighbor, Lorraine, was found dead the night the policeman asked if I had heard from her. Yo. Now, who is this man that's terrorizing their community? She was found decomposing in her house. Okay, and then Daryl? The family, the police discovered her headless body full of knives in the living room. Upon further investigation, they found her head in the attic. This person is a psychopath, like yo. And as for Daryl, his entire family was butchered. The person I saw staring out the window was the body of his grandfather. I was spared most of the details, and I think that's for the better. According to the police, the man hid out in Daryl's house after murdering the old woman. Yo. He killed Daryl's family while they slept and lived in their house for a few days. You know what? This story sounds like what's the name of this movie? No, is it Smile? can't remember the name of this movie, but it's about this clown. I think he got out of what's this? Yeah, I think it's clown. No, it can't be Joker. I, I don't remember I don't remember the name of this movie, but what happened was this clown, he used to terrorize people, he used to kill people, he got out of I don't want to say rehab, but yeah, and then yeah, shit started going down from there. So this story is similar, it is similar to that movie. Both homes were wrecked, flipped over chairs, torn open furniture, one or two broken TVs. The only thing stolen was Daryl's phone. Okay, so where is Daryl? It wasn't long before my family and I moved to another state. The killer was never caught and the case still remains open to this day. What if the man is Daryl? Like, I don't know. What do y'all think? Because where's Daryl? What happened to Daryl? The man they were looking for was never identified. The only way they could assume it was connected was because of the violent manner in which he murdered his victims and the destruction of the homes he hid in. He snuck in, committed his horrible deed, and then slipped away into the night. I spent countless nights having nightmares and hearing his awful screams. After many years of therapy, coping, a self-defense lesson here and there, and moving in with my fiance, I think my life is trying to finally return to normalcy, Shane. I can imagine the trauma that you went through. Well, I thought that until I got a call the other day. The number looked familiar, but I ignored it anyway, thinking it was a spam number. And then it clicked. It was Daryl's cell phone number. Yo, that was hectic. So my question is, what happened to Daryl? That's why I think, hi Vikem, how are you? That's why I think that Daryl is or was the one terrorizing people. I don't know. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Let's go to the next story. I was long shame you. Okay, the second story is titled, I'm a police officer that quit his job after a paranormal experience. I'm not a superstitious person. I didn't believe in ghosts or demons until now. Yeah, stuff happens that can't be explained. But I just want you all to know that it took me more than a couple of flying spoons or a dog. Like, why would you say that? Oh, flying spoons. Or a door opening on its own to scare me out of my job. Since the department didn't find any reason to keep this police report confidential, I will now detail you everything I can on what happened on the scariest night of my life. We had just received word from dispatch to check out a noise complaint in a small neighborhood whose name I will not disclose for their privacy. It was me and my partner. Let's call him Paul and I'll go by Mike. We arrived sometime after midnight. The street is dead. Everyone is sound asleep at this point. We park our patrol car in front of the formation house and exit the vehicle. We knock on the door and let our presence known. Police, is anyone home? A little girl, 8 or 10 in appearance, opens the door and peeks through the gap. Hey, I crouch to make myself less intimidating. Is your parent or guardian home? She shakes her head. My first thought was that she probably had the TV a little too high and woke up the neighbors. Well, it might be that. Fast forward. But before I could tell her to stay inside and lock the doors, then part, I heard the sound of crashing silverware coming from what I presumed would be the kitchen. The entire house was nearly pitch black. The girl answering the door and shaking her head let me know she was alone. which makes whoever made that noise an intruder as far as it concerns me. I asked the girl to step outside and turn to Paul. Paul, why don't you give her one of those lollipops you like to suck on when you're nervous? Paul gave me a cold stare as the girl giggled. Okay, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. They went to go wait by the car as I slowly pushed the door all the way open. Police, if there's anyone in this house, please let yourself be known. Without a warrant, I had no right to enter the building. I tried my best to spot whoever made the noise, but it is too dark to see. Just any sign of a threat, and I would be justified to search the house. But nothing. Fast forward. That was fast. Yo. Y'all, please give me a minute, nee. I don't know what happened here. Hi. Okay. Okay. I left the door open and headed back towards Paul and the girl. Hey again, I don't think we introduced ourselves. I'm Officer Mike. This is my partner Paul. If I may ask, what is your name? Maribel. That's a pretty name. So Maribel, again, if I may ask, where's your family? As soon as I had finished my sentence, the television in the living room turned on, volume fully up. Me and Paul quickly turned in surprise and could see the television playing static from outside. We put Maribel in the backseat of the patrol car for her safety, as no civilians were allowed in the front seats. We then, against our better judgment, entered the house. We tried every switch in the house, but no lights came on. While wandering the house cautiously, I would catch a person standing in the mirrors. I thought it was Paul, but every time I looked behind me, Paul was nowhere to be found. Haibo, where is Paul? As I returned to the front door along with Paul, we both jumped as running footsteps echoed down the hall. We detached our firearms and aimed it at the source. The footsteps got louder and got closer, but no one ever appeared physically. Lamps, chairs, and other stuff started getting thrown around by an invisible force as the footsteps reached us. I would have started praying shame in tongues even. We sprinted out of the house and waited by the front yard. The footsteps seemed to stop, followed by the police siren that went off. I ran to the car and silenced the siren. I looked back at Paul, who seemed shocked. You alright, Paul? He takes a lollipop out of its package and puts it in his mouth. Yep. I opened the rear door and checked up a Maribel. You okay? Fast forward. Okay, this story, it sounds interesting compared to the previous one. Okay. She nodded her head, so I walked back to Paul. I don't know what to make of this, he said. Yeah, me neither. No, seriously. Ignore the running invisible man that knocked everything down for a second. All the family photos, pictures on the wall, he points at Maribel. She's not in any of them. I was not expecting that. So what are you thinking? The footsteps led outside. Then the siren goes off. There's a million buttons in that car. What are the chances? Paul, are you trying to tell me that Maribel is haunted? I knew it. I knew it. That is why I didn't want to jinx it. How do you explain what we just saw? I'm sure there's an explanation. The TV turns on when we take Maribel outside, prompting us to check it out. Someone or something shows up in the mirrors but ducks away. I remember wanting to shut him up, not because he wasn't making any sense, but because he was. And Evele, he was. Paul was making sense. I know you've seen it. It was prowling around. Then it runs outside and gets in the car. Tries all the buttons. I think a ghost is trying to get to the girl. So who is Maribel? Fast forward. I just stood there, not sure what to say, until Paul decided to start walking back towards the house. Paul, what are you doing? It only shows up in the mirrors. That's how we find it. Oh, where was I? Okay. I followed him inside and watched as he takes a book from the counter and breaks the nearest mirror. What's the matter with you? That's someone's property. He takes a shard and hands another one to me. It's not every day you get to arrest a ghost. Paul is funny. He is funny. We aimed our flashlights all over the house, waiting for something to appear in the broken glass. I recall praying to God Almighty to not let anything show up, but it did. It did. I panicked as it swung its red, bony arm at my back. It ripped right through my uniform, causing me to fall forward. I dropped the glass, which broke into smaller chunks. That place is haunted. It continued clawing at my shirt and flesh, but stopped when Paul opened fire. I heard its screech fading as Paul helped me up. We both then hurried back outside to find Maribel missing from the back seat. What if it was Maribel who was doing this whole thing? There's something about Maribel that you guys are missing. Well, Maribel missing. Okay, I'm now lost. Okay. It was difficult explaining what happened to the department without sounding like nut jobs. The police cameras who were betting on to prove our stories had shut off the moment we entered the house. Oh, y'all were at the wrong place at the wrong time. The thing, whatever it was, must have turned them off while we were unaware. The only part of our story that our police captain took seriously was the girl Maribel. The captain brought up a missing person report, and asked us if this was the girl we saw. It was. Fast forward. It's been just a few days since I gave up the badge to save whatever little pride I could spare. I just asked to whoever reads this and to whomever it may reach. The next time a door opens on its own or things move by themselves in your home, check the mirrors. Yeah, no, poor guy is traumatized. Shame. I hope this is the last story. Okay. Okay, are y'all enjoying these stories? What's up? What's up? Let me know in the comments. The third story reads, okay, no. I suffer from sleep paralysis, happened more often during high school and were mainly me being thrown off a cliff as somebody left. It got old pretty quick. But a couple of years ago at my old place, I downloaded the Necrophonic app on my phone and started messing with it. I shouldn't have done that. I don't know what you wrote. I don't understand, unfortunately. A week later, I had a dream. This dream started out sexual as a woman was riding me, but her skin quickly turned pale and started decaying rapidly. I pushed her off, and the previous scene of her riding me was playing on a projection behind her as I was surrounded by darkness. She started growling loudly as she walked toward me, and I stepped backward to get away from her. I could feel that anxious feeling that I was about to go full sleep paralysis mode, so I knocked out of my dream. I've learned to wake myself up before that. Why do y'all swear? I don't feel like swearing today. Okay, I went to church. Before that starts, it's a feeling of anxiety and panic that I need to stop before sleep paralysis sets in. So I basically laid in bed for 4 hours before I fell asleep again. In this dream, I was in a very claustrophobic building. I opened opened the main door to a wide grassy field and a road at the end of it. I saw that some pale I saw that same pale woman on the road staring at me, and that same panicky feeling came on strong. I woke myself up, excuse, and I could hear the woman scream as I regained my senses. I've never experienced sleep paralysis, and that is something that I don't ever want to experience. Another week passes by, and I had a dream I was in an old antique shop with this round humanoid creature at the counter. The items in this place felt cursed. I looked around before the shop owner looks at me, and I shit you not says, "Don't go out there, she's waiting for you." I could see the pale woman outside of the glass doors. Who is this pale woman? As I woke myself up this time, I felt my foot get dragged down the. I don't want to say that word. Y'all, I went to church today. I went to church. I felt my foot get dragged down the bed, and my face leaving the pillow and hitting the mattress. That's the end of it though. After I moved, I haven't experienced anything like it. My roomie's dogs would also randomly get scared and come into my room to be close to me on my days off, and if I was the only one at the house. I haven't fucked around with that app since. So, I don't know. Something about the app was making him, I don't know, experience sleep paralysis. So, that's my take. Okay. This is the last story, Shane. Guys, I'm tired. Let me quickly drink water. Like, I am tired. Ah. I honestly don't have the strength to do this. It felt so good. I think this should be the last part. Plus, it's hot in here, so you can imagine. Hey. All right, y'all. Let's read the last story. Lord, give me strength. This is a story my sister told me when she was home alone, with my mother. When this happened, I was at some kind of camp for school. I study in a Catholic school, so we have these little reflection camps. My dad isn't home because he was on a business trip. Anyway, so it's been a day since I left for the camp, and my sister and mom are just binge watching Netflix late at night. They didn't notice that it was nearly 12 p.m., so they decided to just go to sleep in my mom's room since my sister was too lazy to go back to her room. They went to sleep, but after an hour, my sister woke up to a notification from her phone. It was from a delivery company, and it had said that her package that she ordered online just arrived. She said to me that it was supposed to come around 3 days more. She also found it weird on why it came so late. But she didn't think anything of it because she knows that she's Ubered stuff way later and it still arrived. Usually the delivery person would just leave the package there, so she didn't bother opening the door and getting the package because she was way too tired now, and the delivery guy or girl, I can't remember anymore, but anyway, knew her. What did you write? But anyway, knew her, and they were pretty close. Sure. So she knew they wouldn't mind. But just in case, she opened the CCTV app to see if the delivery guy was still there, just in case, because she knew it would be embarrassing if she just let the guy wait there. That was thoughtful. She saw the person who usually delivers the package to her in the CCTV. Fast forward. She just let the guy wait there. Why would your sister do that? She's She saw that he looked a bit weird, but she just brushed it off, and so she immediately got up. My mom woke up in the process and said where she was going, and my sister answered that, yo, gosh, there's no full stop, there's no commas, like there's literally nothing. My mom woke up in the process and said where she was going, and my sister answered that there was a package that just arrived and she was going to get it from the delivery man. My mom questioned why, because it was late, but my sister just said to think nothing of it. My mom agreed and went back to sleep. My sister went downstairs and opened the door. What if it was a trap? Like, what if it's a trap? The delivery guy immediately gave her the package and drove off on his bike. She was going to ask on why he delivered so early and why so late in the night. Exactly, that's my question as well. She was going to ask on why he delivered so early and why so late in the night, but couldn't. She was definitely feeling a bit weary, but was too sleepy and tired now. She went back, and instead of going back to my mom's room, went back to hers because she was not processing anymore on what was happening. And it was nearly 2 a.m. in the morning now. So she just told my mom she would sleep in her room now and went back to sleep. The next morning, she told everything to my mom, and my mom looked at her in shock. My mom had told me that she was just reading the news and it said that the delivery guy that showed up last night just went missing 2 hours ago. Fast forward. After this incident, my sister never opened any doors late at night anymore, no matter who it was. She got kind of traumatized and even reported the incident to the delivery company. I also got pretty scared after she told me this, after I got back, but my dad, after he got back, just found it fine. The end. So yeah, that's what happened. I don't know what happened to the delivery guy, but everything about him was odd. Imagine making deliveries at around 12 a.m. in the morning. Like, that's not something that happens every day. Like, that's not, that's weird actually. That is weird. So yeah, guys, if you guys don't have any more questions, if y'all don't have anything that y'all want to add, I think I should end this video. I'm gonna just give you a few more minutes and then I'll be going off. But today's stories were long, Shane. I'll read the rest of them when, I don't know, probably next week if I won't be busy. But like, I am literally trying. I am trying, guys. I am trying. Like, I am trying. It's not easy. Like it's not easy being an adult and a content creator at the same time, if that makes sense, right? But I'm really trying to incorporate content creation and work at the same time, right? So yeah, that's why, like, I am trying to be consistent. Let me put it like that. Questions 5, 4. What did you write? 3, 2, 1. Okay, guys. Oh, my bad. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining my stream. Yeah, until next time, guys. Until next time. So right now I'm gonna take a nap. I have literally 3 hours left before my favorite show starts. So yeah, I want to take a nap. And then after that, I'm probably gonna do some work. Yeah, I'm gonna do some work and wait for like the show to start, and then I'll take everything from there. Bye, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Love you all.